Let me tell y'all a little story, man, about Mario. Okay. I'm Dayton's finest. Okay. I lived out there in them streets. Everybody in the city know who I am. And if you don't know who I am, it's because you're young. Okay. And you didn't come up in the same era that I did. Okay. But anybody my age or a little bit younger, they know who I am. Don't get it twisted. This is my show, and I call it Surviving Dayton because I survived in Dayton. I survived being bullied. I survived getting shot. I survived being jumped out there. I survived being in and out the trap. You see what I'm saying? That's a person that I can say is a trooper. Okay? Period. When you living at war, sometimes with other people, sometimes with yourself, you kind of get drawn in. You know, it's almost like a TV show. It's almost like being on Power. It's almost like being on the series BMF. You know, being on one of these sitcoms. You know, I don't live a reality TV. I am reality. Okay? So when you checking out my show, you understanding that, man, you looking at one of the founders here in Dayton when it comes to hustling. Okay? Well, in that time, I struggled with it. I struggled with finding who I was and what was my agenda. You see what I'm saying? Because I knew for sure that I wasn't going to retire from it. You see what I'm saying? So one day I just sat down. I sat down because I was going through the motions like any other hustler. You feel me? I was in and out of trouble. You know, the boys was at my door. Okay? I was getting into raids, missing them. Okay? 2014, they came in my shit. Okay? Broke in. They said, we can't catch them. We gonna break in this nigga shit. Period. Real talk. So after that situation, I said, you know what? I get one more hard run in, and then I find something else to do because it ain't that serious to me. You know, I don't want to see myself in the penitentiary forever. I don't want to see myself in the graveyard. So the best thing I had to do was to chill out, make ends meet, and find another opportunity. And that's exactly what I did. I found another opportunity, and I started getting into my own groove again. I started taking my art, and then I started branching off. You know, one of the decisions makings I came up with was, hey, man, you good at cutting grass, man. Why don't you start cutting grass? Okay? I started cutting grass. My first car was a 2003 Cadillac DeVille, which I still got it. It's parked in my yard. That's why it's parked in my yard. This car didn't even run, okay? After they did what they did, the car mysteriously started running again. And it ran for me to be able to use it to cut my yards. And I built my opportunity off of that. I started with one push mower, okay? My dad ended up letting me get his riding mower. So I had a push mower and I had a ride mower. I worked that situation all the way up until I got a trailer. I didn't even have a trailer. I got my first trailer. I got my first pickup truck. And at the end of the day, I never looked back after that. Okay? Got that, and then I started creating other opportunities. Then I started building on top of that. So I went to school for drafting. I started using my drafting ability, and then I started doing contracting. Okay? I started creating things of my own, like my driveway I got right here. I created it. Okay? That's come from my vision. You know, I don't care who else got one that looked like mine. I created it first. Okay? So I started creating my things. After I start creating my house in my image, other people start noticing it. So I started building up a lot of work from just that opportunity. I'm one of the dudes out here in Trotwood who never put a sign out, who never put a number out on my truck, but I created more business than anybody with a number or a sign. That should tell you something. That should tell you that boy good. So when God got a way for you to be able to survive, he make a way. All you got to do is pray. And my prayers got answered. And I understand who I am as a person now and what I can create beyond that. You see what I'm saying? Because everything that you think about can become an image. It started off as an imagination, but at the end of the day, your imagination can become your dreams. So I'm going to tell everybody out here, dreams come true. Dreams come true, and you can turn them into reality. And this is not a TV show. This is Surviving Dayton. Y'all now tuning in with Lil Mario, man. Come and check me out, man. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Hit that subscribe button. Because at the end of the day, I got something for you on the way. Okay?